Reality. Knowledge is knowing someone is lying to you. Wisdom is knowing that in all lies, therein lies truth. There's always some modicum of truth in any lie told. It's what gives it its believability. In today's video, we're going to share something that is all over the news, but nobody is seeing it. Because, of course, you're being lied to about it. It has to do with what most people would call a win for the little guy, when really it could spell the end of the little guy. Now, real quick, of course, here in Florida, the big story is still south of Cuba. There is a storm brewing, and apparently it's going to hit the west coast of Florida, up around the Big Bend area, very sparsely populated area, but apparently the storm is going to be big enough that it's going to affect everything from Pensacola to Tampa. So, once again, just like so many years in the past, we are prepared, we are ready, everything's going to be fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. Here's the path. If you are interested in tracking and keeping track of the storm, day to day, minute to minute, whatever, track the tropics. TrackTheTropics.com, just like it sounds. Every storm has its own specific page. The page is run by donation and subscription. There are no ads. It is the comprehensive source for any image you would want, whether it's a future track, whether it's a real-time satellite image, historical data, anything you want to look at, they have it. So just like it sounds, track, T-R-A-C-K, the tropics, TheTropics.com, trackthetropics.com. Always want to give them a shout out. Absolutely fantastic resource here on the web. And of course, before we get into the meat of today's video, always want to be thankful, always want to express gratitude. We have a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot out there that's not real good news, but I am thankful for every one of you that shows up here every day, engages with the Florida Maquis, whether you agree or not, whether you like my content or not. Love having you here. Love having the different perspectives. Love hearing all the different ideas. Those of you at the Patreon channel that have stepped up, I've marked this at the lowest possible allowable level to get in one singular US dollar per month. Even less if you sign up for an entire year fully. And, of course, as always, you can stick around for 3 months and you can look at the content at your leisure. And if after 3 months and $3 it's not for you, all $3 come back. No questions asked. We'd love to have you over there. We have a video that I'm working on. I was hoping to have it up by tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to have it up by tonight. Tomorrow for sure. It's going to talk about something that everybody in my audience cares about. Every single person, I guarantee it. It talks about how 2024 might not play out for the previous president like he thinks. And it might have nothing to do with the federal government. So, anyway, we'd love to have you over there partnering with Vimeo, taking the gloves off. God bless all of you. Now, real quick, some good news. Governor Tate Reeves, Mississippi, came out with a statement I think it was actually earlier today. Absolutely the exact right thing to say in response to what we have been hearing, rumors from the federal government about some new election variant that they're rolling out. Governor Reeves, Mississippi, says no mask mandates ever again. August 28, 2023, as the number of cases of COVID-19 have reportedly increased, Governor Tate Reeves released the following statement following media speculation of the return of mandates and other measures. Here is his quote, and I want to read this because it's absolutely spectacular. Mississippians will not and should not submit to fear again. In the early days of COVID-19 back in 2020, there was understandable uncertainty. We did not yet know what we were facing. As the months unfolded, it became clear that there were two pandemics, a disease that was easy to spread and that was deadly for many vulnerable people, and a pandemic of fear stoked by the expert class, giant quotes there, that demanded total subjugation of the American people. Continuing the quote, in the first days of national unity, it seemed ridiculous to assume that bureaucrats and experts were trying to seize power. Now, it seems ridiculous to assume they wouldn't try it again. He continues, the simple answer to the question being posed by experts is no. We will not return to widespread masking or COVID rules. If you want to take extraordinary measures to protect yourself from getting sick, God bless you. That is your right, and you should do what you think is best. Maybe you're the smartest of us all. But we are never going back to 2020. People have a right to make their own decisions, to decide how much risk they tolerate, and no matter what pronouncements come down from the Biden-Fauci administration, we will go to school. We will go to church. We will go to work. And we will play sports. We will live in self-determination, not top-down fear. If it had been me, I would have said we would play sports, and we will each retire to our respective locker rooms after, based on the gender we were given by God. I would have added that, but that's, in a nutshell, what the governor of Mississippi said. Absolutely spectacular. Didn't miss a beat. Exactly the right tone. Exactly what every state needs to do. Well done, Tate Reeves, Mississippi. Now, as I referenced beginning of the video, people who think a tax boost will cure inflation are the same ones who believe another drink will cure a hangover. Ronald Reagan. Now, this quote a lot of people don't get, but when you really take a moment in the cold, hard light of analytical thought, it's exactly right, and it's mind-blowing. It is impossible. You cannot tax a business. Business doesn't pay taxes. It collects taxes. And if they can't be passed on to the customer in the price of the product as a cost of operation, business goes out of business. Everybody says, we should do away with this tax and that tax and the other tax and just tax businesses. You can't. Because you will end up paying for it. All they will do, no matter what kind of tax you put on a business, they will just add it into the price they charge you for that good or service. You will pay it. You will pay it. End consumer pays it. What if you had the ability to go into your work on a daily basis and say, you know what, they just raised the price of milk down at the store, so now today I give myself a 25-cent an hour raise. What if you could do that? Okay, today I work for $15.25 an hour because I need the extra money because milk is more expensive or gas is more expensive. Well, that's what business does. It's exactly what business does. It looks at whatever the costs are to survive, and then it just adds in the new number. Now, I want people to think about this not in the context of government and taxes, but think about it in the context of any cost accrued by a business. Everybody is all up in arms and rooting and cheering for UPS because they won these contract negotiations with, the big evil business owners. They got these huge raises. The average UPS employee is going to make $170,000 a year now. Their part-time employees are going to start at like 21. Their average for the full-timers is going to be $49 an hour. And so I put together a little montage of a very popular meme. And I'm sorry if it offends, but some of you will get it. Some of you will get it. I tried to make it as funny as I could. I'm going to leave it up on the screen here for people to absorb. Relax. It's just time to pay your fair share. Right, fellas? This seems wrong, though. And I just couldn't resist in the lower right. I just absolutely couldn't. Some of you will get this. Some of you will understand what it means, the imagery. UPS drivers to receive $170,000 in salary and benefits after new union negotiations. Some people say, well, how does that affect me? How does this affect me? Why do I care? Why shouldn't I be happy? UPS affects everything in this country. If their costs go up, they're going to pass the cost along to you. Meaning every business out there that uses UPS for anything at all is going to pay more. So what are all those businesses going to do? They're going to raise all those prices. And guess what? If we go to a national sales tax, See what happens? Congress doesn't even have to approve it. It's a huge tax increase. It's a massive tax increase, and it's going to take a while. You see, the UPS people don't care. The people that won these negotiations, because they're getting a giant fat raise to make up for that. So they're really not, they think they're getting ahead, and they will be for a minute until everything catches up. And then they'll be right back where they were because everything's going to be more expensive. The difference is they'll have extra money in their paychecks to deal with it. You and I won't. These UPS employees are making things more expensive for everybody because UPS is going to charge more to everybody. And if it's not you directly, well, I don't use UPS. I don't have things delivered. Okay, but the places where you get things do. Everybody else does. And in the places those places get things from, use UPS. UPS is huge. It's the I believe it's the largest pure delivery company. I know Amazon is a bigger company as a whole, but as far as the delivery company goes, I think UPS is the biggest. You know, and they're so super excited about this. There was an episode, I mean, how many of you remember, it was Deep Space Nine. I don't want to get too far off in the weeds here. There was a really kind of weird episode of Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where there was a bar on the space station, and it was one of those kind of seedy bars where people came in basically to, yes, get a drink, but also look at the girls. And, you know, the girls worked on tips, and they had to tip out everybody, which is normal. And, you know, they got into this whole thing about creating a union for better pay and better wages. I think it's kind of funny now because all of the actors in California are on strike. They're all on strike, and nobody cares. All of the actors and all the writers in California, they're all on strike, and nobody gives one rat's ass about it. It's not on the news. Nobody's doing anything about it. But UPS, oh, big deal. You see, it's like a tax. It is like a tax. Nobody at UPS tomorrow is going to be asked to do anything more than they did before the contract negotiations. Meaning there's going to be no more increase in productivity. Meaning there's going to be no more increase in revenue. Where is all that extra money going to come from to pay for that? All of those raises, to pay for all of those extra benefits. It's going to come from you and me. The UPS people are like, well, that's fine. I got a raise to cover it. The rest of America didn't. So what did the UPS people just do? All the union members of UPS, what did they just do to the little white donut? What'd they do? That's right. You can think about it however you want to think about it, but that's basically what happened. And that's what started here. The reality. Knowledge is knowing someone is lying to you. What's the lie? What's the big lie? Oh, the little man won. The little man finally did something to fight back against the evil rich people. That's the lie. Wisdom is knowing the truth in that lie. What's the truth? The truth is that some little guys are going to be doing better than other little guys. And that's always been the case. Of course, they want you to think that you're all in the same bucket. It's kind of the whole misery loves company thing. See, if I were to, I don't know if I should even talk about this. What the heck? It's 14 minutes in. I might as well. Somebody wants to write a song complaining about their life. It's a song complaining about their life. And people are like, you shouldn't write songs complaining about your life. You should be thankful. But if they want to write a song complaining about all of our lives and include everybody in it and saying, I'm suffering, but boy, so are you too. Boy, I tell you what, everybody will be on board for that, won't they? I'm not going to name names here. But you see the trick? You see the psyop? One person complaining about their own particular issue is just, look, dude, we all have our own cross to bear. I get it. Have a beer, suck it up. But boy, I tell you what, if they include you, or they include a large group of people in the same moaning and pissing and whining, see what happens? See what happens? All of a sudden, poof, everything changes. That's the reality. So I will leave it there. Everything's going to be fine. There's going to be a storm. Storms have come. Storms have gone. A great many in the last decades that I've lived here. You know, it's what Florida does. If Florida does one thing well, I mean, you can make fun of Florida man all you want. If Florida does one thing well, it's this. It's this. The storms come, and literally as soon as the storm moves past one area, there are people staged and equipment and logistics staged right behind it to swoop in literally within a matter of not even hours, really, sometimes, and start standing things back up and clearing roads and getting the power back on, and basically just following the storm and picking up literally right behind it. So I will leave it there. God bless. Pray for each other. I'll pray for you. Pray for me. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.